What happened in the previous chapter was that Innocent Zero arrived where Domina and Mash were. Upon his arrival, our hero felt the immense pressure that the big boss carried. Our hero tried to protect Domina from the harsh words of Innocent Zero, but he was easily stopped. He again removed his bracelet and rained continuous attacks on Innocent Zero. However, Innocent Zero suddenly reversed time, which confused Mash. After that, Doom arrived, the eldest of Innocent Zero's 5 children, known as the Devil's Quintuplets. Domina's hair stood on end at the arrival of his brother and wondered why he was there. Innocent Zero ordered Doom to teach Mash a lesson. Innocent Zero explained to Mash that if he wanted to get the Wand of Beginnings, he must first defeat Doom. The battle began immediately, and Doom initially used 20% of his power to test Mash. When our hero managed to match his strength, he raised it again to 30%. He suddenly disappeared from where he stood and told Mash not to disappoint him. Doom suddenly appeared behind Mash, and Domino was surprised because he sped up again. Fortunately, Mash managed to dodge Doom's attack. Mash stepped back and stared at Doom. It was also explained here that Doom was chosen by one of the 13 Master Canes. Mash is indeed fast and strong, but due to Doom's Master Cane, he can use his magic power to push his body to the absolute limit. That is the blessing of Doom's cane. The battle continued and Doom decided to use 50% of his power, and our hero again removed his bracelet. The two clashed, and when we thought Mash's punch would hit first, in the end, Doom managed to slash him using his magic. What's up, Onii-Chan? Welcome back to our manga recap series about Mashle, magic, and muscles, a story that blends elements of Harry Potter and One Punch Man. So, let's start the video. Continuing the exciting story of Mash in a world full of magic, we return to Doom's successful attack on him. Doom said that Mash managed to force him to use magic, but now he understands that even if Mash could match Doom in physical prowess, because of his magic, he still has the upper hand. In other words, it's supposedly impossible for Mash to win. Suddenly, Mash fell to the ground and seemed to be shaking. This left Doom just staring. Mash explained that he got sore muscles from removing his wristlets. This made Doom question if Mash was being serious. When he looked at his sword, he saw that he had hit a cream puff. He wondered why there was a cream puff on his sword Caladbog. Mash said that his cream puff got squished. Doom was taken aback and thought if Mash always hid desserts in his robe. He wiped his sword, and when he finished, he noticed it had a crack. He commented that this had never happened before. He thought that Mash tried to make a desperate counter to his attack. Mash possesses the strength to crack his blade, and despite that, he still hides desserts and makes ridiculous jokes so he doesn't understand. He also couldn't shake off the feeling that he was missing something. The events don't add up, and there's something really unusual about our hero. While thinking, Doom realized something about what Mash did. So that's it, and he understands what's happening. Our hero isn't using his full strength, so our hero just said, "Oh." Mash supposedly can't help but underestimate his opponents, or perhaps he's afraid to unleash his full power, so he unconsciously holds himself back. However, Mash said that he would never be so disrespectful. Doom found that quite interesting and seemed to want to be the one to break our hero's limiters himself. Innocent Zero suddenly noticed something. Even Doom felt what Innocent Zero did. Innocent Zero said that several powerful presences were approaching, and those were the Divine Visionaries. They need to prepare and retreat for now. Doom said alright if they need to, and it seems his pleasure will have to wait. Mash then told him not to leave. Innocent Zero cast a spell and suddenly something appeared on the floor where Mash was lying. Mash was surprised and asked what it was. Innocent Zero explained that it was magma infused with the power of darkness. Anything it touches would be completely absorbed. He decided to take Mash's heart using dark magic, but the process would be extremely painful. Mash just stared and mockingly said that Innocent Zero is a very bad person. Doom asked if the name of our hero was Mash Burndead. He said that the next time they meet, Mash should make sure he can use his full potential. Otherwise, he will never be defeated by our hero. Those people were really evil. They really embodied being villains. After that, our hero started wondering about what he should do. The magma splashed next to him and instantly melted the floor. Mash said that he needs to move. When he tried to move, his body couldn't handle it, so he immediately stopped moving and began to cry because he didn't know what to do. Our protagonist remarked that since he couldn't move, it meant he was going to be consumed by that dark magma. Sometimes, he said, we just have to lie down and accept our fate. The magma next to him erupted violently, and Mash spoke his last words, thanking his friends and asking for forgiveness. Suddenly, he was lifted by Domina, who was then struck by the splattering dark lava. Because of this, Mash was surprised. Domina immediately felt the damage he sustained from that dark magma. Domina explained that Innocent Zero had already abandoned him, so he didn't care what he did now. As Mash was trying to protest, Domina was continually being burned. Domina told Mash to stay quiet as he thought that he was nearing his end. He kept holding up Mash as he slowly sank into the magma. He was extremely tired, but he couldn't let Mash die. He needed to save him, even if it cost his life. He quickly used his water magic to send Mash flying away from the dark magma. Mash was flung to a corner, disbelieving what Domina had done for him. As he continued to sink, he reflected on everything he had been through since he was a child. He dirtied his hands for Innocent Zero, but for him, he was just a tool. In a world where he was alone, where no one loved him, he felt worthless, even less than worthless. But despite that, Mash still held his hand. That was the first time he felt warmth from another. He was happy that he met Mash before his end. After that, he said goodbye to our protagonist as he was slowly consumed by the magma. Our protagonist's eyes widened, and before long, Domina had completely disappeared. While immobilized, Mash was not accepting of Domina's disappearance. Following those events, Mash was rescued by the Divine Visionaries, and there began the fight that would be Mash's last. Innocent Zero was shown inside his base, ordering his child to gather all of his siblings. In the next scene, a man was shown drinking from a wine glass. After a sip, he stated there was nothing more satisfying than a glass of blood to relieve his exhaustion while sitting among countless corpses. Suddenly, Selwar arrived there and called the man Master Delisaster, informing him that Innocent Zero was calling for him. That was the call to gather at Magar Castle. He was irritated and said that it was a hassle, so he'd go back later. When Selwar was about to say that as much as he might not want to, he really had to go, Delisaster approached him. He said he was just joking. However, if it turned out that his presence there was not important, he would kill Selwar. After that, he moved to Magar Castle, where Delisaster learned that Domina had died. There were people talking there, saying that someone like Domina losing to a visionary was nothing new. However, it was Mash, who has no magic, who defeated him. And at that, Delisaster, the fourth child of Innocent Zero, shouted, saying that was funny. He trash-talked Domina, calling him weak. He pointed out afterward if there was any point in discussing it. There wasn't, right? It just added stress, and stress is bad for the skin. Selwar was thinking to himself how arrogant Delisaster was, but he indeed had something to boast about. He defeated the 50 strongest elven warriors alone, a species known for their toughness. The power of a visionary was far surpassed by Delisaster's power, so it was no surprise he had such an attitude. When Selwar glanced to the side, he also saw the third son, Epidem. He was surprised by that and wondered when he had sat down there. Epidem tapped his foot, which made Selwar curious. It seemed like he was saying words, but he was saying one letter at a time. He kept repeating the word puddin while producing a pudding. He played with the pudding, saying it was his puddin. He talked to it like a madman, claiming that the mixed egg and sweet milk had come to his hands. Because of that, both Selwar and I were stunned. Epidem took a spoonful of his pudding and slowly brought it to his mouth. When he took a bite, it seemed as if he was possessed by some spirit. In the end, he was delighted by the pudding he tasted. Selwar could only swallow in discomfort. He called Epidem and explained that he was forced to come back there right after he was sent to wipe out the giants. Just as he was about to apologize for it, Epidem pointed out that he had already finished it, which surprised him. Selwar thought that those giants were as hard as fortresses, yet Epidem had quickly wiped them out. Delizaster also commented that Epidem was indeed a monster. Suddenly, something stabbed Selwar, causing blood to flow. It turned out he was stabbed with a sword. He was surprised by that and shouted that he was stabbed. Then a man appeared behind him and said that he had fooled Selwar. He shouldn't worry because it was only fake. While laughing like a fool, Selwar just stared. The man was introduced as the second son, Famine, and he said he was amused by Selwar's expression. If stabbing Selwar was that enjoyable, he wondered how much more enjoyable it would be if he stabbed him with a real sword. Suddenly, he pointed a real sword at Selwar. Delizaster and Epidem thought to themselves that unlike them, their older brother was crazy. While Famine's sword was still pointed, his hand suddenly got cut off. Then someone spoke up and told Famine to stop. It turned out that Doom was responsible, saying that he didn't enjoy pointless killing. If Famine planned to provoke him for his own pleasure, he would suffer, whether he was his brother or not. Because of that, Famine fell silent, his intense aura visibly affected by Doom. Selwar thought to himself that he was amazed at how quickly Doom silenced Famine. He was impressed, and it seemed that Doom had gotten stronger again. Innocent Zero suddenly appeared and said that his children should stop fighting. They all looked at him, while Selwar wondered when he had arrived. He said that Domina had been defeated, but they would still continue the plan. It would happen 1 month from now on the day of the solar eclipse. Doom suddenly spoke up and said he wanted to remind them all. Their sixth child, their youngest sibling, Mash, was their enemy, so they should be careful. It seemed that Doom had high praise for a defeated enemy. Delizaster asked if Mash was really that strong. Doom agreed and explained that although Mash didn't know it, he was holding himself back. If he could learn to free himself from his shackles, he might become even stronger. He said he wanted to fight him under better conditions, to see him at his very best. His companions commented that he always worried them about pointless things and that he was overestimating Mash, who couldn't even use magic. After that, they continued what they were doing. Innocent Zero said that he now possessed the Wand of Beginnings. He cut his palm and asked for their help in his journey towards Godhood. They all simultaneously let their blood drip from their palms. Finally, it had begun, and they performed the forbidden magic of body construction, as referred to by Cell in the previous chapters. That's where this video ends. What do you think? Is Doom's assertion about Mash true? If so, just how powerful could our protagonist's full potential be? Write your comments down below. If you want more anime and manga recaps, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with new videos.